Hello and welcome to another edition of National Focus. I'm Jarna Hector. Coming up, the Electoral Commission continues its sensitization campaign on the multi-purpose national identification cards. We'll update you on ongoing works on the Capuchino Road project and 23 adolescents graduate from Social Center program. Stay with us for details of these stories and others after the break.
Scary! Everything just shaking and making big creaky noises.
Earthquakes, big and small, take place in the Caribbean at least 10 times a year.
The dishes rattling and falling and breaking, then Vonnie started to scream.
All I could think to do was shout, "Get outside, get out!"
Earthquakes, hazards, take control, reduce your loss. If an earthquake hits, what can you do? Get down, get under an item of furniture like a table. Hold on and stay there until the quake passes. Find out lots more about earthquakes and other hazards at your local disaster office. A message from your National Disaster Office and SEDERA.
The facts as they are, brought to you every day. Only on GIS Channel 7.
Thanks for staying with us. Plans to begin issuance of the multi-purpose identification card in October this year were discussed at a public consultation at the Portsmouth Credit Union Hall on Thursday. In 2012, the government of Dominica decided to implement national ID cards which would be used for voting purposes during general elections. The MPID project is part of a regional sub-project among OECS countries to electronically integrate government systems and services. The Electoral Commission is the body responsible for the issuance and administration of the multi-purpose ID system in Dominica. Chairman of the Electoral Commission, Gerald Burton, during Thursday's meeting explained the purpose of the card.
That card will provide is intended to provide one unique means of identification for citizens. We know that in Dominica, in particular, we have multiple bits of identities that we use. So, for instance, we have passports and driver's licenses. Some of us have social security cards. But not everybody has a passport. Not everybody has a social security card. Not everybody has a driver's license. And the multipurpose identification card presents a unique opportunity for all citizens and persons of Dominica to have a means by which they are identified. But more importantly, a means of identification that is authentic, that meets international standards, and it is hoped would be acceptable by institutions across the board, both in the government services and in the private sector.
Burton says government has confirmed that the multi-purpose identification cards would be used in the voting process during general elections.
The Commission has always taken the position for quite a few years now that we ought to go in the direction that most other countries in the Caribbean and indeed in the world have introduced as part of the electoral process, and that is a unique identification card. Of course, government, which has the responsibility, or the executive, which has the responsibility for the purse, the public purse, the finances of the state, have indicated a few years ago that the government was of the view that rather than an identification card purely for election purposes, government's desire was to see a national identification card that would have multiple purposes. The Commission took the view that we had no difficulty with such a national or multi-purpose card, provided that it met the criteria that the Commission had identified as being required for these particular purposes, or for purposes of elections. We have had the opportunity, beginning about 2 years ago or thereabout, 2 or 3 years ago, to examine the multi-purpose identification card, and the Commission became satisfied that the OECS proposed multi-purpose identification card met the criteria that we felt was required for the purposes of elections. And it is for that reason that we indicated to the government that we were prepared to utilize the multipurpose identification card for purposes of election.
Burton disclosed that every citizen and resident would be entitled to receive a multipurpose identification card. He, however, explains that not everyone who receives such a card is entitled to vote.
It is important that we underscore that the multipurpose identification card or system is separate and apart and totally independent from the electoral system. As a matter of fact, the Electoral Commission in the last year or so has brought the electoral system in-house so that it is within, we have a new, so to speak, electronic electoral system. I'm not the technical person, this gentleman will explain, has been designed and is located within the electoral office. And that system is totally independent from every other government system and will be independent from the multipurpose identification system. Once you receive or you have been registered on the multipurpose identification system, if you are also registered as an elector, then your elector's number, your registration number for election purposes will be put on that card. Okay? If you are not registered as an elector, then you will not have that number on your card. So that even if you show up at the polling station with your multipurpose identification card and your elector's number is not on that card, you will not be able to vote.
Meantime, Chief Elections Officer Stephen LaRocque disclosed that the enrollment process is expected to commence in October this year. The Commission has taken a decision that the enrollment will start with individuals of voting age and that will be followed by individuals aged 5 to 17. He noted that this is being done with a deadline in mind.
There'll be an enrollment section where your biographic and biometric as fingerprints, photograph, signature, and supporting documents will be captured. Vetting will be done by senior officers at the registry department. And the issuance of the card, that will be done at the electoral office when all systems are checked and it is deemed that the person can be issued with a card.
The Electoral Commission is hoping to have cards issued during an 18-month period commencing October 2013. In more news, 23 adolescents, that is 15 males and 8 females, graduated from the Social Center's Youth at Risk program last Friday. Walson Seiler received the award for being the most outstanding student of the group. Francis Joseph, who facilitated the Agana program at the Social Center, is encouraged by the success of the program thus far. Participants who may have either dropped out of school or failed to achieve the requisite school leaving certification were provided training opportunities to enable them to become employable. Francis Joseph encouraged the young people to be aware that the employment market is competitive. He made a special plea to the business community to give these young people a chance to prove themselves in the workplace.
We see a lot of exuberance in our young people. They are crying out for help. This is the opportunity to ask the business people to give them the opportunity to excel themselves. But moving from here forward is a discipline. Most business people will not have the patience and the tolerance because you are competing. So every business person, when there is one job going, about 10, 15 people will apply. You need to prepare yourself to understand the competitiveness of the employment market in Dominica now. It's a challenge.
Mr. Joseph encouraged the young people to move forward with a sense of confidence.
Everyone here this morning, I trust, love you, wish you well, and want to ensure that when you leave here today, you can represent yourself in the best way possible. Take all what is being said to you. You are graduating now. That means you are masters and mistresses, I dare say, of your own destiny. But there will always be people out there that you must refer to for assistance and help, and never feel that you're alone.
Coordinator of the Adolescent Training Program, Lionel Lowe, is heartened by the willingness of these young people to change their lives for the better through the Social Center's From Offending to Achieving program. He is looking forward to these young people excelling in life.
There's nothing wrong with making mistakes, but you have to correct them. You can fall also, but you must get up. That is the main thing. If you stay down, well then you lose. So I just want to, say how much, a lot of joy I have this morning to see that our young people here this morning could sit here, in this audience to receive this certificate. Maybe if they didn't give a second chance, they wouldn't be here today. At least later on in their lives, they could say, yes, I have achieved something. They could, say to the children or relative or what. But it's really good to stand here this morning to be with them.
The graduates completed training in a number of disciplines such as woodwork, information and communication technology, electricity, culinary arts, plumbing and sewing. Minister of Social Services, Community Development and Gender Affairs, Honorable Gloria Shillingford, also addressed Friday's graduation ceremony. The minister praised the graduates for taking advantage of the opportunity for a second chance to succeed.
This graduation ceremony is testimony that young people can do better when granted a second chance. It is a clear indication that youths who have been misguided can turn around and through their own determination and the support and encouragement of others who care, can turn around and become responsible and worthy citizens. These young persons who will receive their certificates today have taken advantage of a second chance, and they have shown us that it is well worth the while.
Honorable Shillingford took the opportunity to reaffirm government's commitment to the social center programs. She called upon the corporate community and other institutions to invest in the youth of the country through financial and other forms of support through organizations such as the Social Center. In other news, Parliamentary Representative for the Capuchin constituency, Honorable Reginald Austri, along with GIS News, visited the Capuchin Road, where work is ongoing to make travel easier for users. The project has been divided into 3 parts, each supervised by a local contractor. Jeffrey Romaine is in charge of the second section of the road, where 4 other workers were involved with construction of a proper drainage system for the newly rehabilitated road. Romaine explained to GIS News that his section of the road project has been ongoing for almost 2 months and is expected to be complete before the end of July. Honorable Reginald Austri acknowledged that the project, which spans Capuchin to Tatan, is a much-needed government investment.
Quite a bit has been said about the condition of the cottage road from Lagon to Capuchin, basically. And as I've explained on a number of occasions, the road was already in bad condition, but the water project, which is part of the $25 million West Coast Water Project, it terminated in Capuchin. And as a result of the digging of the road, it made the road worse. And then we began having this severe weather. And you could understand, based on what you see, the discomfort and the agitation of the persons using that road, both pedestrians and vehicles. And we had to do something about the road. The contractor was supposed to have restored the road to its original form. But apparently, under the contract, the money was not sufficient. So the government decided, at the end of the day, it's a government road, it's the people who are inconvenienced, so the government stepped in, and the Prime Minister made $1.7 million available for the rehabilitation of the entire road, because the road was in such a condition that it could not be repaired. And what you see now is a complete and total rehabilitation of the entire road from Tantan to Capuchin.
We'll bring you more from that visit in a subsequent newscast. And the contributions to Carnival 2013 were recognized when the Carnival Committee held its annual prize-giving ceremony on Wednesday. Sponsors, including the Dominica Festivals Committee, the Discover Dominica Authority, Lime Dominica, and the National Bank of Dominica, were in attendance at the Arawak House of Culture for the event. Tourism Minister Honorable Ian Douglas acknowledged Carnival as a time when Dominicans set aside differences to put on this much-anticipated show. Minister Douglas wishes, however, that unity would be a year-round spirit.
Carnival in Dominica is a time when all differences are put aside. And although it is put aside temporarily, I think we should find a way to ensure that Carnival allows us to put away all our differences permanently and continue to work together as a country for the continued development of Dominica.
Minister Douglas says he is fully supportive of Carnival, both rural and urban. He hopes that at some point all of the unique Carnival art forms will be displayed in the capital in an effort to further the tourism product.
Carnival continues to be one of the most beautiful and unifying experiences in Dominica's culture. This year, it brought together thousands of people over the season of fetes and cultural events, all leading up to the 2 days of wild celebration and parades across the country. Communities have had as much fun and excitement with the staging of Carnival activities in their locality, similar to those held in the capital.
Colin Piper, Director of Tourism and Chairman of the Dominica Festivals Committee, made note that nature, culture and adventure are Dominica's main sources of promotion, and in the area of culture, Carnival plays a big role.
To be noteworthy, so that they are carried by the local and foreign press, so that the event or festival that is Carnival increases the awareness of the destination through the Caribbean and further afield. And secondly, to host an attractive lineup of activities so that the festivities entice people to travel to Dominica to enjoy the Carnival period.
Piper continued that in addition to bringing in foreign exchange, Carnival also tells the story of Dominica's ancestors, showcases Dominica's heritage, and affords local artists opportunities for self-promotion. Marketing manager of Lime Dominica, Karim Gist, stressed that Lime's support is rooted in its commitment to the advancement of Dominica's unique culture and traditions.
As a headline sponsor, we continue to devote significant resources to the culture and activities in Dominica. The approximately $500,000 invested in Carnival every year includes support to the overall Carnival celebration, Calypso, Miss Teen, Junior Monarch, and Carnival t-shirt bands. Important to note is the valuable partnership between Lime, the Discover Dominica Authority, Dominica Festivals Committee, and the government by extension, which has grown and strengthened year on year.
Marketing and Public Relations Officer for the National Bank of Dominica, Amanda Scotland, listed a few of the activities sponsored by the institution. She encouraged participants to aim even higher next Carnival.
We, National Bank, are a proud partner for the past few years for Carnival. We do sponsor Carnival, various areas of Carnival. We, for example, sponsor the Portsmouth Carnival. We have sponsored the NBD flag wavers, as well as various pageants. However, our contribution for the past few years has been, or a major part of our contribution is focused in to the art of costume building. We feel very strongly about the art of costume building because for us, that art it needs to continue growing in order for it to make the Carnival product an attractive product to our visitors and by extension our tourism products. We have seen a number of schools participate this year, and we would like to encourage a lot more schools to participate in future so that we can have even a better product and a larger Carnival parade.
At that ceremony, recognition was made of deceased Grand Bay local Mr. Samuel Key Blaise, who was the manager of the Sakis Lapo Cabwit Group. And that's English segments of the news. We now join McPherson St. Luce for the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole, non moins c'est McPherson St. Louis. Premièrement, People's Republic of China a un commitment coopération supporter Dominique en plusieurs aspects. Commitment ça là vient sur une discussion que le Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt les joint et puis Premier China à Great Hall of the People en Beijing semaine là. Premier là qui a China et puis Dominique pour cultivation, coopération pour combattre le changement climatique et puis promouvoir bagaille soutenable. Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt remercie People's Republic of China pour assistance à eux pour Dominique et puis pays Caraïbes. Et aussi remercie China pour assistance à eux pour pays qui ont développé. Honorable Skerritt aussi bat commitment travail et puis China plus coopération pour Dominique et puis les autres pays Caraïbes. Premier ministre Skerritt ka aussi attendé Forum Eco Global hors de 19 pour le 21 juillet. En d'autres nouvelles, l'association Teacher Dominica a organisé un grand spectacle ça au chez Royal, bat Teacher en Dominique. Parole ça là qu'a sorti votre président association Teacher Dominique, Sylvia Nicolas.
Nous voulons faire un Miss Pageant en octobre. Et nous avons invité tout teacher qui m'a DAT pour venir enregistrer. Nous avons fait l'école. Nous voulons un principal l'école là, by blessing me. So nous avons ça avec 25 juillet, c'est registration, deadline registration. So nous avons créé She's Royal. So ça nous avons fait, là vous regardez tout Queen Show in Dominique, you can your teacher die, tout Queen Show. Là Queen Show nous avons l'année prochaine, l'année passée, il y a 3 teachers là, 3. So ça nous avons dit, nous avons fait un petit pageant by you, et nous hope yo même qui pour ici, oui. Plus, moun ka toujours made pour biter avec là ou ba yo biter là, yo pas kate couronne. Mais nous ka fait, nous ka hope nous ka taper teacher pour participer.
Meeting pour discuter implémentation Multi-Purpose Identification Card Identité projet pour place en ville Gontans jeudi semaine là. Projet ça là qu'a formé par un projet qui est implémenté en pays OECS pour brancher système ça là par bagage électronique pour one service par gouvernement ces pays-là. Chef officier élection en Dominique Steven Larocque fait parole que le département là a une responsabilité pour le système ça en Dominique. Selon M. Larocque, processus ça là a expecté pour commencer en octobre l'année 2013. Quand même selon Chairman Electoral Commission Gerald Burton, le gouvernement a déjà décidé que ces cadres là que ça servait en élection générale. Burton fait parole que tout citoyen et puis résident qui doit recevoir carte d'identité salam, quand même c'est pas tout le monde qui recevoir qui doit voter et payer. Et des cartes là qui aussi ça servait pour faire business financier. Monde qui aussi ça servait pour voyager pays OECS. Et puis finalement le ministre santé a gardé les affaires législation qui a concerné plan pour les affaires communication sur le désastre. Ça fait ça la discuté pendant un workshop que le ministre santé tient pour officier qui a engagé en affaires communication. M. Dave Loda, c'est officier spécialiste ministre santé en Dominique.
Les nous documents là, nous savons exactement qui législation qu'il a déjà, législation qui a matché, et c'est une recommandation ça là qui nous mettons devant le ministère Health et nous continuons le processus là.
En même temps aussi, directeur ça fait Premier Healthcare, Dr. Martin Christmas, fait parole qui plaisait bagaille qui a concerné information qui pour disséminer selon santé et puis désastre qui a concerné World Health Organization. Et l'objectif plan ça là, c'est pour faire assurer que information qui a sorti à en manière professionnelle. Il est aussi officier santé supposé bien branché et puis système salam à en manière bagaille marche bien. Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelle en créole pour à présent. Non moins, c'est McPherson Luce. Ni un bon week-end. Au revoir.
Thanks, McPherson. Let's now join Colette Ambo for a look back at the stories which made the headlines this week.
Welcome to this week's edition of Flashback. In the headlines this week, Shanda Francis of the Lighthouse Christian Academy emerged top competitor out of 10 finalists at the DBS Ministry of Education Courts National Reading Competition. The event took place at the Arawak House of Culture last week Friday under the theme Read Today for Tomorrow. The National Development Foundation of Dominica Limited, NDFD, has announced the business year stirring with productivity and remarkable success. The Board of Directors of the NDFD presented its 2012 report at its 31st Annual General Meeting held on Wednesday at the NDFD Conference Room. A multi-grade workshop organized by the Ministry of Education and the EDU Nova Cooperative commenced on Monday. This one-week training, which was attended by 25 principals and 60 teachers of 25 schools, coached teachers to more effectively manage classes with 2 or more grade levels of children within one classroom. Thanks to the Food and Agriculture Organization, The second and final phase of the Assistance to Improve Disaster Risk Management project is underway. This project, which was first launched in 2010, will address the issue of disaster risk within the agriculture sector and is hoped to be completed by December 2013. In joining the efforts by regional governments to support LIAT, Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit has confirmed that government will make another financial contribution to the airlines. Government has already invested $3 million in the regional airline company, and the Prime Minister affirms that this investment is in the best interest of nationals. And discussions are ongoing to finalize Dominica's risk communication plan for public health emergencies of international significance. A workshop was held at the Prevost Cinema on Thursday to address the subject of timely flow of information during all phases of healthcare crises. Those were the headline stories which made the news this week. Back to you, Jarna.
Thanks, Colette. Cinnamon is being proven to be quite the super spice. Stay with us for details in today's tip of the day.
Scary! Everything just shaking and making big creaky noises.
Earthquakes, big and small, take place in the Caribbean at least 10 times a year.
The dishes rattling and falling and breaking. Then Vonnie started to scream.
All I could think to do was shout, "Get outside, get out!"
Earthquakes, hazards, take control, reduce your loss. If an earthquake hits, what can you do? Get down, get under an item of furniture like a table. Hold on and stay there until the quake passes. Find out lots more about earthquakes and other hazards at your local disaster office. A message from your National Disaster Office and SIDERA.
Cinnamon has a long history both as a spice and as a medicine. A teaspoon every now and then could boost calcium and fiber levels, as well as improve your colon health and protect against heart disease. Studies also link cinnamon with blood sugar control, weight reduction, and arthritis relief. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and your comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm. Friend us on our Facebook page and be sure to like our GIS Dominica fan page. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Jarna Hector. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend.